8% of his rebounding, 82% of his assists. Number 10 in your picture there, Tony Carr, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists yesterday. He seems to be the spark plug that makes it all go for Coach Chambers.
He was terrific yesterday, and this is a very talented Penn State team, one of the deepest teams that Pat Chambers has had in his 7th season there. And Tony Carr leads the way. You're only as good as your guards, and Penn State has a terrific win, Tony Carr.
And Patrick Chambers in his 7th season in Happy Valley. It's now 7 years, believe it or not, that Billy Kennedy has been at College Station, as he has 118 wins on the bench for Texas A&M. Of course, when he was at Murray State, that was a team that was back-to-back Ohio Valley Conference champions before he got the opportunity to head to Aggieland. And he has a team that a couple of years ago made it to the Sweet 16. In 2016, he was the Coach of the Year in the SEC. Took a step back last year, a below 500 season, but he's got a contender this year. This should be a good game. And this is one of those games that if Penn State was able to pull it off, what might that do for their season moving forward, as they feel like they can be a bigger factor in the Big Ten?
Yeah, this can be an NCAA tournament team, and they want to be in the upper half of the Big Ten. What a resume builder early in the season it would be to knock off a ranked team in Texas A&M, who right now is the best team in the SEC.
Tyler Davis muscles his way across the lane. A wild hook shot won't go. Trosha Morelos tries to keep it alive, but it's out off of the senior.
That's going to be the matchup we're going to see. Texas A&M wants to go inside. Tyler Davis was in foul trouble yesterday. Really never got into a rhythm. He had 4 points. Did have 8 rebounds. Texas A&M wants to take advantage inside. Really important for Mike Watkins to not get into foul trouble.
Tony Carr uses the screen from Watkins, gets double teamed, and throws it away over the head of Shep Garner.
That's the first turnover, but right out of the gate, Penn State a little sloppy. Even on the opening tip, just a little loose with the basketball. A couple deflections here, and now the turnover. They need to tighten it up on the offensive end.
Admon Gilder will drive it. He lost it.
Sloppy start to this one. Both teams turning the basketball over. Just settle in, run some offense.
Pittsburgh was totally overmatched yesterday in their matchup at Penn State. Reverse is there for Mike Watkins, but I'm wondering tonight, the challenge for Penn State at the offensive end against a team with a completely different length advantage against them. It's going to be harder, I would think, to find open shots against A&M for Penn State.
Yeah, dealing with that length, you got to be sharper with your passes. We've seen a deflection already. We saw a turnover. That time throwing over the big defenders. Much better play. Crisp on the pass.
Tyler Davis doesn't get the roll. He'll try again. Took a shot to the head. Trosha Morelos right back to Davis. His reverse is short, but he'll go to the free throw line as he was fouled by Mike Watkins.
For boxing out, so important. You get Texas A&M to miss the shot. Because of it, they continue to attack inside, and then Davis picks up the foul on Mike Watkins. He cannot be in foul trouble early in this ball game.
Is Tyler Davis one of the best players in America that no one knows about? I mean, I say that with all possible respect. It's just that Robert Williams seems to get so much of the publicity for Texas A&M, and this arguably is a pro at the line as well.
Yeah, he's got all the ability to be a pro, play at the next level. So if it's possible to fly under the radar, he is because of that star power of Robert Williams. Tyler Davis is terrific.
Another uncontested look underneath as Lamar Stevens got loose. A defensive breakdown for the Aggies.
That's twice now. We've seen the slip. Stevens have to lock in on that weak side. First time Penn State cleared the side. That time just no rotation.
Trosha Morelos, air ball. Here comes Shep Garner. Lamar Stevens picks up his dribble and gets bailed out by Mike Watkins. Tony Carr settles it down.
And nothing going that time, Penn State.
Carr on the drive, off to the corner. Stevens, a little too strong. Check that, Stevens with the offensive rebound off the miss by Reeves. Carr, a floater, is good.
The play so under control, getting into the lane that time, using the runner. That's been the difference in his game. He put on some weight in the offseason. He feels more comfortable getting into the lane.
And we were told Shep Garner was going to wear a mask for the first month or so after colliding with his teammate Nazir Bostic a couple of games ago against Montana. He broke his nose, and he wore the mask and had no problems last night. Double-figure score against Pitt. But whatever mask he was wearing today, apparently a different mask than last night, it's gone. As Tyler Davis knocks down a three. As Shep Garner, in the middle of the game, decided that mask not working, and it's on the sideline now.
Yes, Tyler Davis, a pro. He can score with it back to the basket. If he starts stepping out and knocking down threes.
Leaning in, Lamar Stevens. Score the bucket plus the foul.
Score the basket for Lamar Stevens.
So a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play for Lamar Stevens when we come back to Brooklyn. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, your first-round pick for car insurance. And by House, the new way to design your home. The Progressive Legends Classic between Penn State and Texas A&M. Bob Wischusen, Sean Harrington, both happy to be here to watch this matchup because this should be a good one. And it's a Texas A&M team that right now is ranked 16th. And you said something during our first segment that might have kind of flown by, but I think it bears repeating. Right now, Kentucky and Florida are both in the top 10. And yet you think this might be the best team in the league?
Right now, Texas A&M is playing like the best team in the SEC. They handled West Virginia. And you don't see many teams go and punk West Virginia and physically outplay them. And they did that. They're shooting the basketball extremely well from three right now. They've got all the pieces. And a lot can happen from now until March. But today, Texas A&M is the best team in the SEC.
What's the drop-off in the SEC, in your opinion, from Kentucky, Florida, and A&M to, say, fourth or fifth best, as Davis is able to lay one up and in inside?
Where is that next team going to emerge?
Right.
To the top three.
And who might it be?
Right now, maybe Alabama. Obviously, maybe not the fourth best team in the SEC, but huge blow to Missouri today.
Yes.
And they're going to lose
Michael Porter for the season,
yes.
It looks like.
And that changes the landscape of the SEC. This is a very good conference. A conference that maybe is under the radar a little bit, not getting talked about quite as much.
Lamar Stevens is able to lay it up and in.
Lamar Stevens is at his best when he is attacking the rim and not settling for jump shots. Getting into the lane. He's got a bigger defender on him in this game. He needs to use that advantage, put the ball on the deck, get to the rim, use his quickness and speed.
Admon Gilder knocks it down. It's a one-point game after the three from Gilder.
Gilder is shooting the basketball extremely well in the early going this season. It allows the bigs of Texas A&M to play one-on-one in the post. Very difficult to double the bigs when you have shooters on the perimeter like Gilder and Hogue.
Lamar Stevens comes up short. Rebound in traffic, pulled down by Tyler Davis. Davis crosses over, blocked. Davis fighting for it with Satchel Pierce, but Pierce wins the battle.
He's going to shoot the three, just knocked one in. He was open. That's when the coaching staff looks at you and says, what's going on when the big guy steps out and shoots 2 threes? That was not in the scouting report.
Satchel Pierce, offensive foul.
Offensive foul whistle on Penn State's number 3, Satchel Pierce.
Pierce battling inside. Lower that shoulder. You even see the elbow come out a little bit. Stevens is going to have an advantage of putting the basketball on the floor. He needs to not settle for threes. And Gilder does a terrific job reading the screen. Defender goes over the top, so Gilder fades to the corner to get that separation. Nice smooth stroke. Come on, Gilder.
2 point guards on the floor now for Billy Kennedy, as he has Dwayne Wilson still in the game, and TJ Starks, a freshman, checks in, and there's Wilson playing playmaker as Robert Williams checks in for the first time and immediately makes his presence felt.
I believe all his buckets are dunks on the season, and they're setting them up. A lob to the big fella.
Pierce is able to finish off the feed from Carr. 6 Penn State field goals, all in the paint. Starts, lost it.
Good hands inside, leads to a turnover.
Like the shot clock is down to 4 from the wing. Stevens short, and the rebound to Robert Williams.
A lot going that possession. Penn State got caught on the baseline, nowhere to go, forced to take a late 3 in the shot clock.
Bad shot by Wilson early in the shot clock. Steps back, hits the backboard first.
Better be wide open to take a shot that early in the shot clock, especially with the bigs on the floor.
Mid-range jumper for Carr won't go. DJ Hogue with a good box out and an outlet to Gilder. Able to finish.
Gilder.
Pat Chambers not happy with the defensive balance, and right here you're going to see Robert Williams sets the screen. Penn State has a decision to make. Do you stop the ball? Do you stay with the big? That time Pierce stays with the ball, allows Williams to sneak inside. The defense has to rotate over. Too easy for Texas A&M.
Yeah, you talk about the decision they had to make. Can I offer some friendly advice?
Stay with the big.
Maybe stay with Robert Williams, at least someone. He's going to get taken in the top 10 of the draft next year. Looks like a foul called on TJ Starks. At the second on Texas A&M, they've got a 1-point lead.
Take a little bit of an adjustment there on that high screen and roll.
Now, Robert Williams was suspended for the first 2 games of the season for an unspecified violation of school rules, but he's the preseason co-SEC Player of the Year this year. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year as a freshman. At ESPN, we've got him as a top 6 NBA prospect, and who knows, with a good sophomore season, how much higher up the list he might go. Last year as a freshman, nearly averaged a double-double and averaged 2.5 blocks per game.
Yeah, great rebounder, block shot, good defender. You see there, a little bit of contact, but he got out there quick. The hedge on the ball screen with the lobs. He can obviously finish around the rim. I want to see him score with his back to the basket a little more, continue to improve that throughout the year.
Is that the #1 area you think his game can improve?
Yeah, with his back to the basket, that's where he wants to be a dominant force inside. He can catch, and go and score. You have 2 good moves to go to in a counter when you're down on that block.
Traveling called on Nazir Boston. That's old school. It doesn't seem like anybody in the NBA now focuses on a back to the basket game. 7-footers are outside the 3-point line ball handling. In New York, Kristaps Porzingis is probably about as good an example of that as anyone. So in the NBA, do you think that elevates the value of Williams, that he can bring something that used to be standard operating procedure but now might be a bit of a lost art?
Yeah, you want to see a guy that can score around the rim, get some easy buckets for your team.
Offensive rebound, and Williams can't convert. Kept alive though, and here's Gilder for 3. Yes.
Second chance opportunity. Texas A&M is going to make you pay. Gilder with this smooth stroke from the outside continues to stay hot from the outside.
was J.J. Chandler, the freshman for Texas A&M, that kept that play alive on the baseline. 10-2 run for the Aggies. Tony Carr leans in. Too strong, but draws the foul on Gilder. How about the Jim Maui Invitational later on tonight? We'll have Notre Dame and LSU over on ESPN at 10 Eastern to see which of those two teams gets a chance to advance to the championship game Wednesday to take on Wichita State.
Fun time of the year. Possibility of two ranked teams playing for a championship. See a lot of ranked teams, big conferences going head-to-head in all of these tournaments.
Tyler Davis returns
playing in Maui, definitely one of the highlights of my playing career. Everybody asks you where you played or what's the best destination you went to. It's no hesitation. Played in Maui. It's a fun time of year. Still remember that one. Obviously, that's a loaded field every year. Multiple teams ranked. Again, when we went, it's a fun experience for a college kid. You go to some of these exotic places and play some basketball against the best competition.
Now, in your years at Illinois, you had Bill Self for 3 years there?
Correct.
What was that experience like?
It was outstanding. A lot of fun. And it was with Lon Kruger and Bill Self, two of the better coaches in college basketball. And to see those two, the different styles.
Yep.
We were successful in those 4 years and two completely different coaches. Just goes to show you don't need to do it the same way. You got to believe in what you do. Both of those coaches believe in their systems.
TJ Starks gets stuffed and Penn State the other way. Lamar Stevens lobs it into the post. Gets a return down the lane. Finger roll is good for Stevens.
Love that part of Stevens' game. Don't settle for the outside shot. That time mismatch inside. Starks found his way on Watkins. The double team had to come. Stevens needs to continue to be aggressive. He has the advantage when he's putting the ball on the floor and getting to the rim.
Tyler Davis on Mike Watkins. Instead, underneath, it's Williams.
That's where you're in a dilemma if you're Penn State. Can't go trap the post. You're going to get a lot of single coverage inside on Davis and Williams. And Williams, a thunderous finish on Stevens.
Tony Carr, nice shot fake. And a chance for a three-point play. He got Admon Gilder to bite on the fake.
You got a good one going back and forth here. Give two guys credit on the block there. Stevens at his best, getting into the rim. And then the answer on the other end, Robert Williams. Carr, crafty veteran moves. Gets the defender to leave his feet, takes the contact, has an opportunity for a three-point play.
When Tony Carr was coming out of high school a couple of years ago, he was number 50 on our ESPN 100. Now a top 50 recruit, that's not normally the kind of basketball player that Penn State gets. That says something about what Patrick Chambers has done with his program over the last 6 or 7 years, the kind of team he's accumulated now.
And a couple good classes in a row. You got Watkins and Reeves to come in, and Stevens and Carr.
Watkins stayed home on the drive by J.J. Chandler, and he commits his second foul.
That's huge for Penn State. Mike Watkins, a difference maker on the inside. Really difficult for Penn State to match up Texas A&M bigs without Watkins on the floor.
They'll bring Satchel Pierce back in, and there's Williams. Too easy on the inbound underneath.
No communication that time for Penn State on the baseline out of bounds. Williams just dove to the rim. Carr passed him off, and nobody was there to take him.
And check on Dwayne Wilson. That's his first.
Penn State's zoning off here. Just no talk. That was just a simple dive to the rim. Williams wide open. Those are plays you can't give up. Baseline out of bounds. Make them work for everything they get.
Robert Williams reads the pass to perfection. Chandler, yes, off the feed from Williams.
Chandler did a good job attacking the defender, going right into his chest. on the break. Scores at the rim.
Lamar Stevens slips to the goal, sets up a soft jumper from Satchel Pierce.
Nice touch from Pierce. He was moving towards the rim, caught it on the fly, had the body control to finish the soft jumper from 6 feet.
Hogue went back door looking for the lob. And a steal. And a finish by Reeves.
You have to know where Josh Reeves is on the floor. If you're getting ready to make a pass and he's anywhere near it, he's going to run through the passing lane. 3 steals yesterday. That leads to an easy bucket.
Averaged over 2 steals per game last season. Tyler Davis. It's a return. 7 to shoot. Foul underneath. That's going to be on Satchel Pierce. That's going to be Penn State's 4th team foul and the 2nd on Satchel Pierce. Tied at 23. Under 8 to go in the first half. 2 totally separate brackets. Duke and North Carolina are in separate brackets, so they're both in action coming up later this week, but they can't play each other. But there are plenty of other good matchups. We'll show you the brackets a little bit later on and some of the matchups that, if the right teams win, we'll see ranked versus ranked teams out in Portland.
DJ Hogue has been quiet in this ball game.
Takes the handoff from Williams and gives it up with 5 to shoot. Wayne Wilson picks up his dribble. Chandler has to force one. Good defense that time by Penn State.
Absolutely, out of a timeout. Not what Texas A&M wanted.
Lamar Stevens tried to follow the miss by Julian Moore. Wilson will attack and finish with the left hand.
Terrific push in transition. Used the bigs as a screen in transition. Able to get all the way to the lane. Texas A&M goes to a zone here. You know where shooters are on the floor. There's one of them.
Air ball from Garner.
This is transition. Got to stop the basketball. Late picking it up. And Tyler Davis was running the floor. He was used as a screen. Good heads-up play by Wilson.
TJ Starks back in for Wilson. Josha Morelos checking back in as well. DJ Hogue, height advantage. The jump hook won't go.
Box out. Penn State limiting A&M to 1 shot.
Carr for 3. Knocks it down. Tony Carr with a triple.
Just getting ready to say there was only 1 shooter on the floor there against that zone, and it was that guy, Tony Carr, picking up where he left off from last night.
16 points in the win over Pitt. Tyler Davis, nice spin move to the baseline. Oh, and he schooled Julian Moore there.
Great footwork from Tyler Davis, spinning quickly on the baseline. Seeing 2 very impressive things from Davis. The footwork there on that move, and then stepping out and knocking down a 3 earlier in the ball game.
Moore trying to answer, and does.
Julian Moore.
Good answer inside Julian Moore. Quick finish before the bigs of A&M could come over to block it.
Good hands. The freshman Jamari Wheeler jumped in the passing lane and almost got the steal. But how about the footwork for Tyler Davis?
Quick spin. Goes baseline. No help coming. Because of the spacing on the floor. Tyler Davis showing a move.
Tyler Davis starting off this season at 75% from the field. Last year, he led the SEC at 62% for the season. High percentage, efficient player. And here he is Trying to get it in the post once again, but that's a kick on Josh Reeves.
Always love a guy that can score points without taking a lot of shots. That's Tyler Davis. That's the size of Texas A&M.
Morelos attacks. Fouled.
Penn State foul whistled on the left.
To Lamar Stevens picking up his first.
His first. Team Smith.
Penn State still has one more foul to give before it's free throws the rest of the way for both teams. But Trosha Morelos in the act. This is his 101st game as an Aggie.
Coming off a really good game last night. He hit 12 points. Knocked down a couple threes.
You look at the mix, quick guards, perimeter shooting, veterans that have been through this before. Got a lottery pick in Robert Williams. If there's a shortcoming for Texas A&M, an Achilles heel, what would it be? Because they seem to have a lot of boxes checked to be a really good team.
Really struggling to find that weakness right now, and that's the reason why today they're playing like the best team in the SEC.
Lamar Stevens can't hit the three.
Maybe the killer instinct. When they get a team down, can they put them away? Saw them let Oklahoma State back in the ball game yesterday when they had it under control. And they were able to finish it again. Not letting up could be the thing to watch A&M keep the foot on the gas for 40 minutes.
Foul called on J.J. Chandler. That's his first, but that's the team's 7th. Tony Carr shoots a 1-and-1 to try and put Penn State back on top when we return. All right, guys, thanks very much. It is a big opportunity for Penn State, for a team that's trying to establish themselves at a school that's obviously known about 99% for its football, that they could be a force in basketball this season. And what better way, Sean, to send an early message to the world of college basketball than to beat a team that you think right now might be the best and most complete team in the SEC.
And this is a Penn State team that has aspirations to go into the NCAA tournament this year. And you're trying to build your resume throughout the year. They've gotten off to a good start. Clearly the best competition they've played yet this year, Texas A&M. Hanging with them now, but be a great resume builder if they can pull out a win. It's a very good Aggie team.
Williams caught it deep. Tough to stop right on the doorstep.
And there's the back to the basket that you want to see. Williams catching it deep, going right up to that righty hook.
Interesting, though, Penn State, despite all the length for Texas A&M, a 2-point advantage in the paint. That three off the mark, second consecutive bad miss from Garner, but another offensive rebound with 3:12 to go in the half.
Expect Texas A&M to be winning the battle of points in the paint. It's not post-ups that Penn State's getting, but it's attacking the rim off the dribble, and they're scoring around the basket. Lamar Stevens has been a major factor in that category.
Another three goes down for Tony Carr. We have had 5 ties and 10 lead changes here in the first half. Neither team is led by more than 4.
Tony Carr really feeling good from 3.
Carr gets a steal. Out of bounds off Hogue. It'll stay with Penn State with a 2-point lead.
Tony Carr added weight in the offseason. A lot of times with that added weight comes confidence, knowing that you can get into the lane now, absorb some contact, start scoring around the rim, your confidence goes up. He really worked on his shooting in the offseason as well. And not from the outside in the early going so far this season.
Tony Carr tweaked his ankle against Montana and missed the Columbia game. But in each game in which he has played, he's been in double figures, and he leads all scorers in this game with 14 already. He wants to post up again here. The smaller Dwayne Wilson on him. Turns and knocks it down. A chance for a 3-point play for Tony Carr, who is red hot here in the first half. He's got 16.
And this is feeling comfortable, posting up just off the block. That's a big time move. Spin to the baseline, not much you can do to defend that. Tony Carr is going to be a big-time player in the Big Ten, but nationally. Bench loving it.
That's 8 Penn State points in a row scored by Tony Carr. And this is the largest lead for either team. Penn State up by 5. Robert Williams faces up. Sets up. Trosha Morelos rattles home a 3.
It's a big shot. Stops the momentum for Penn State. A big that can step out, shoot the 3. Penn State might have missed one there.
Carr wants it again. And they'll double team him again. Pulls up. He's got it again.
Seeing different players match up now, and Tony Carr still no answer. Shot the 3 over Hogue when it was a taller defender. And now when he's got the shorter guy on him as Starks, he takes him down on the block, scores around the rim.
Trosha Morelos throws it to no man's land, and there's Williams to clean it up.
Robert Williams.
And it needs to continue to pound it inside, especially with Watkins on the bench with 2 fouls.
Moving screen. John Harrah called for the foul.
And Carr off to an incredible start. A little push off there. And then the answer on the other side. Robert Williams in traffic, finishing over 3 Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, we said at the start in the open, these would be the 2 players that would be the most important for these 2 teams. Tony Carr and Robert Williams squaring off here in the first half. What a good game. And now a foul called on the drive. It's going to go against the freshman Jamari Wheeler. That's his first. The Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis in the Bahamas brings you 4 games the day before Thanksgiving, starting with Tennessee Purdue at noon on ESPN2, and that'll be followed up by Western Kentucky Villanova. How about Villanova's chances this year to get back to the Final Four, maybe win another championship for Jay Wright?
Absolutely. And another team, if it's possible to fly under the radar. You just won a national championship 2 years ago, and you're in the top 5. Seems like a team that doesn't get talked about quite as much.
We'll step aside for 30 seconds on the Texas A&M timeout. Back here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the Progressive Legends Classic championship game between Penn State and Texas A&M, and it has been a terrific first half between 2 outstanding teams. Bob Wischusen alongside Sean Harrington. Good hands by DJ Hogue. Thought he got a steal, but it's going to stay with Penn State. Oh, how many officials going to get together? Brian Dorsey changes the call.
I think they got it right. Looked like it went off Pierce. Second. Hogue tipped it. And then went off Pierce's hands.
Returns for Penn State.
It's all from that angle, but it hit Pierce's hands last.
Robert Williams able to handle the inbound. And a foul called on Josh Reeves. That's his first. 8th Penn State team foul, though, so it's a 1-and-1 for the freshman TJ Starks.
Starks at the line.
Not what Pat Chambers wanted out of that timeout 51 seconds ago. You're thinking 2 for 1. Try to go down, get a quick bucket. The 2 possessions to Texas A&M's 1 going into the half. Instead, it's a turnover and a foul. And it's Texas A&M that ends up getting the 2 for 1 here to close out the half.
Well, Penn State has also managed to get through the foul trouble to Mike Watkins by doubling up Satchel Pierce and Julian Moore and getting enough quality minutes out of those 2 that their best big man's been on the bench for at least half of this half with 2 fouls.
That's something Patrick Chambers talked about. Some depth inside, something they haven't had in the past. Watkins gets into foul trouble, and they all
another jumper for Tony Carr. He's got 21 in the half.
He's been terrific, and he's showing it in all phases of the game. Shooting the 3 mid-range jumper, posting up. He's getting his teammates involved.
Less than a second differential. So TJ Starks can dribble it down, and Texas A&M can take the last shot of the half.
Get clock management here to not give Penn State a look.
Starks with 5 to shoot, drives the baseline. The reverse won't go, but the follow is there for Robert Williams, and that will end the half. Texas A&M on top by 2. Williams with 12 and Tony Carr with 21. The 2 stars carrying their teams at times, but A&M leads by a bucket.
Great move by Starks to get into the rim. You can see all the blue shirts go to the ball. Terrific finish from Robert Williams. That's what he's been doing, finishing around the basket.
We expect just as good a second half. Coming up, 2-point game at the break. John Brickley with the guys in the studio. Legends Classic here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. We had an excellent first half. 2 teams lit it up from the field, 42-40. Texas A&M has the lead. Bob Wischusen and Sean Harrington set for what I think is going to be a fun 20 minutes of basketball. The biggest reason, the stars are playing like stars. And if we look at Penn State, they shoot 63% in the first half. They've got a special guard in Tony Carr.
Yeah, Tony Carr has been terrific here in the first half, and he's doing it in a bunch of different ways. He is leading his team, making big shots, making big plays. He's shooting with a lot of confidence from 3 this year. And in the offseason, he added some weight. And that's got him feeling confident to post up a smaller defender. Sees the double team coming, spins baseline. That is a big-time move. The and 1. Outstanding first half for Tony Carr.
7 of 8 from the field, made both of his 3s. So 21 points, a couple of assists as well. But Texas A&M, of course, got a very balanced effort in the first half. 12 for Robert Williams off the bench. Tyler Davis with 9. Admon Gilder with 8.
Both teams shot the ball extremely well. Not a lot of turnovers. Very good first half to play. A lot riding on this second half.
DJ Hogue draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
I like what Billy Kennedy did there. DJ Hogue very quiet in that first half. Came into the game extremely hot. Didn't get a lot of looks from the outside. They draw up a play, get him going to the basket right out of the half, see if they can get him involved in the offense.
Lamar Stevens called for his second foul. Hogue last season averaged 12 points per game. An ankle injury cost him the final 9 games of the season.
Gilder being physical with Carr early in all-out denial, not letting him get the basketball. And then you see a lot of fresh bodies on Carr. They're going to rotate guys and try to play him that way the rest of the half.
Lamar Stevens doesn't get the roll. Good defense on the interior for Penn State. Shep Garner, the hit ahead to Stevens. He finishes.
Defense turning into offense. Good job by Stevens finishing in transition. Again, going right at the taller defender. When you attack their chin, you take away the shot blocking ability. That's what Stevens did on the break.
Bullet pass right through the hands of DJ Hogue. So Dwayne Wilson turns it over, and Penn State has a chance to take the lead back.
You get a little bit off that pass going to the corner. That is too hard to handle. Carr
misses in close. And it Looks like it's going to stay with Penn State as it caroms over the backboard. So a fresh shot clock for the Nittany Lions.
That's part of Penn State's offense now, to get Tony Carr shots down on the block.
Chef Garner, the one player for Penn State that's cold. He's now 0 for 3 from behind the arc. And another Penn State foul as Brian Dorsey sticks Lamar Stevens with his third.
Penn State foul again whistled on
Stevens thought he had all ball.
Stevens, his third.
Comes across the arm.
Good call.
Yep.
Wilson at the
A
line.
lot of arm there. Might have had the ball clean, but the follow through definitely went across Wilson's arm.
So let's see if Stevens goes to the bench with 3. Here comes Nazir Bostic, and he'll take out Lamar Stevens.
Nazir Bostic returns for Penn State.
Dwayne Wilson earned his degree in public relations in 3 years at Marquette. He was an 11-point per game or better scorer as a freshman and sophomore with a year of eligibility left. Transfers to Texas A&M and now running the point for a team that might win the SEC. Nice patience inside, but missing at the rim was Mike Watkins. I think he wanted a goaltending call. Good deflection at the other end by Josh Reeves.
A&M forcing it inside a little too much.
Tony Carr gives it up. Bostic with the pump fake draws the foul. Let's go back to Mike Watkins looking for goaltending on DJ Hogue.
Shot fake gets a couple defenders up.
Either that or he thinks he got hit on the wrist.
Wanted the foul on Hogue across the arm.
So Nazir Bostic, who was a high school teammate of Tony Carr. They both played at Roman Catholic in Philly. It's a pretty good backcourt in high school, Tony Carr and Bostic.
Throw in Stevens there as well. Bostic probably not getting quite as much pub as Stevens and Carr coming in that class. A very good game yesterday for Bostic.
There's Josh Reeves with the steal. Gives it up to Carr. And that'll be goaltending. Tied for the 8th time to go along with 11 lead changes.
Josh Reeves always finds the basketball in that defensive end, running through passing lanes.
Floater is good for Wilson.
Great job getting into the lane. Defense too easy for Penn State.
Great hustle by Wilson. Gets the steal. Here comes DJ Hogue. Gives it up. Trosha Morelos plus the foul.
This is miscommunication from Penn State. Guys not on the same page. Leads to a turnover. Bostic with the touch foul in the back.
What is Nazir Bostic hoping to accomplish with that foul? He's got no chance to stop a 230-pound, 6'10" player that's right at the front of the rim unless you foul him almost to a flagrant level. And isn't that one where if you're the coach, just let it go?
Absolutely, especially when you're behind. There's nothing you can do there. If you're in front of him, you can make a swipe at the ball, try to not let him get his arms up in the air, but from behind, he's got to get out of the way, move on.
This is the largest lead for Texas A&M, up to 5. That's how close this game has been. Neither team has led by more than 5. That 3 comes up a little bit short from Reeves. Run down to the corner, though, by Watkins.
Gilder still trying to make it very difficult for Carr to catch.
Reeves again. This time it's good.
Free from the corner, Reeves.
Floating it up towards the rim is Dwayne Wilson. And why not if Robert Williams is there to finish?
These guards do such a good job of finding the big on the roll, putting it up to the rim. You got a wide range to throw it up there when it's Williams going to get it.
Tony Carr goes down and gets a timeout call.
Penn State calls timeout.
So Penn State basketball when we come back. A&M with a 4-point lead.
Williams right now coming from the top of your screen. Sets the ball screen. Defense stays with the ball. Williams knows what to do on the back end.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. We're back with tonight's game track brought to you by Progressive, and what a Legends Classic it has been for Tony Carr of Penn State.
He sprained his ankle, didn't even play the last game leading up to this, and he's come back, looks terrific. And the leader of this team becoming a household name across the country, only a sophomore.
Bailout call, Will out on the perimeter. DJ Hogue commits the foul with 4 seconds on the shot clock, so that'll bump the clock back up to 20 for Penn State. That's his second.
You gotta be smarter than that in the defensive end. Nothing going for Penn State there late in the shot clock. Get 20 more seconds.
Tony Carr stripped away, taken away by Dwayne Wilson. Two-handed bounce pass and the finish by Robert Williams.
Very good when a big guy can run the floor like that. Good find from Wilson in transition.
Mike Watkins draws the foul.
He scored 21 points in the first half. You're going to have everybody's attention. Gilder's done a terrific job here in the second half being physical. Wilson comes over and gets the strip from behind. And then that leads to the run out. And yeah, that's Robert Williams in transition, finishing.
Excellent pass from Dwayne Wilson. 6-point lead for A&M. Bob Wischusen, Sean Harrington. And it's a 6-point lead for a Texas A&M team that is the only team in the SEC to return 4 or more players who averaged double figures last year. So this is a great early season test for Patrick Chambers and a Penn State team that also returns over 80% of their scoring, rebounding, and assists. It's got to be a luxury in college basketball these days for a coach to bring back that much experience, that much production, that number of players for both teams that know the system.
Yeah, you don't see it too often, especially with how many transfers we're seeing now. It seems like more and more kids are transferring out, so get that many guys coming back. And both of these teams with high expectations. Texas A&M, an SEC championship is the goal for Penn State.
Wilson for 3. Hits it. Largest lead for A&M. It's up to 8.
Wilson's been terrific here, setting up his teammates, helping out defensively, now knocking down a 3. And Gilder is all over Tony Carr.
Speaking of which, Robert Williams all over Lamar Stevens with the block.
That's why he's the defensive player of the year in the SEC. Long arms, extends.
The lob and the finish. Mike Watkins. Great look from Reeves.
A&M's done that. Penn State answers a little lob themselves. The backside's open. No rotation. Good execution from Penn State.
Texas A&M is shooting 61% from the field, though. So at some point, Penn State's going to need to get some stops. And that won't work as Reeves fouls Dwayne Wilson.
Good execution. Reeves coming off of the handoff. Watkins finishing the bench mob up on their feet.
Wilson at the line for the Aggies.
And Wilson continues to put pressure on this Penn State defense you just mentioned, shooting over 60% here. This is a major reason why Wilson getting into the lane, setting up his teammates.
Reeves to the bench as Nazir Bostic comes back on for Penn State. And a very efficient night offensively continues for Texas A&M. They are 14 of 15 at the line, and they're shooting 61% from the field.
Carr again gives it up. Gilder not going to leave him. Make somebody else beat you on this end of the floor.
And Bostic gets sandwiched on the drive. Dwayne Wilson scoops, gets it to go.
Penn State has no answer to keep Wilson out of the lane. He's been a difference maker here in the second half.
He's up to 13, and he has scored the last 7 for Texas A&M. Here's Tony Carr. Shot clock winding down. One-on-one against Admon Gilder. Carr forces one up. Gilder gets the clean block.
The block's going to show up in the box score, but the half is Wilson.
9 in a row for Wilson. And a double-digit lead for Texas A&M.
Big spurt here for Texas A&M. Dwayne Wilson is getting into the lane. That little fancy scoop. In the second half, the difference in this game has been Gilder all over Tony Carr, making it very difficult to score. Big block there. But in this second half, Gilder has not left Tony Carr. He's been physical. He's been trying to deny him the basketball, making it difficult to catch. Making it hard for Penn State to score here in the second half.
Let's take a look at the bracket as it stands in the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Second semifinal coming up at 10 Eastern on ESPN. Notre Dame in the top 13 takes on an LSU team that came from behind to beat Michigan last night. The winner gets Wichita State in the championship game tomorrow.
Wichita had to come back from a double-digit deficit over Cal in the first round of that tournament. Penn State, who's going to step up here? Tony Carr being guarded heavily. Someone has to step up and make a play.
Jeff Garner's pass knocked away by Trosha Morelos. Hogue heads a 3. Texas A&M starts to pull away. They're up 15.
And it's Wilson again, setting up Hogue. Good push in transition. Finds the shooter. Hits him in rhythm.
Lamar Stevens drives and is fouled.
The energy that Dwayne Wilson is playing with, pushing in transition, kicks it out to the shooter. DJ Hogue quiet most of the night, but a big 3 there. So many weapons on this team. That's why this Texas A&M team can be special this year.
Hogue last night, 4 of 7 from three-point land, scored 18. He was the offensive star. That was his first field goal tonight, and yet his team is shooting 60% from the floor. So when you take your best offensive player from yesterday, turn him into a complete 0 factor today, and offensively you're better today than you were yesterday, it shows the depth of Texas A&M.
Yeah, different guys stepping up every night. You talk about the length, and obviously Robert Williams, a terrific talent.
Gilder attacks, fouled by Watkins.
Williams is going to get a lot of the recognition throughout the year, as he should. But there's a lot of pieces to this team. Tyler Davis really improved this year as well. And you just mentioned Hogue is quiet, but has been really good scoring the basketball so far this year. Gilder is off to a great start. And then tonight, a guy like Gilder taking it on himself to guard Tony Carr in the second half. And has really done a good job denying him the basketball. Carr had 21 points at the half. And it's been very difficult here in the second half. Give Gilder all the credit, the defense he's been playing.
15 trips up the floor in the second half of Texas A&M. They have scored points on 11 of those 15 trips. At some point, Penn State has to turn that around, or else they are going to get blown out.
And they got to stop transition and maybe look to switch it up on defense a little bit.
Here comes Robert Williams off a steal. Gives it up, gets it back.
More defense, leading the offense. Williams really runs the floor well.
Lamar Stevens connects.
Lamar Stevens.
Good answer now. What does Penn State do? Here you see three-quarter court press, try to slow him down, take some time off the shot clock, potentially get a steal.
Hogue from the corner. No good. Tony Carr bounces one, and the reverse is there for Lamar Stevens. Penn State back within 13.
That's the first time in a long time Tony Carr was able to get into the lane without being pressured, able to set up Stevens that time.
A steal off the press. The finish for the freshman Jamari Wheeler.
Good response from Penn State, picking up the defense.
And another steal. Tony Carr crosses over. He finishes, plus the foul. The pressure for Penn State tries to turn the game around. It's an 8-0 Nittany Lions run. Wild here in Brooklyn. And coming up after the So Penn State still hanging in there in the college football playoff rankings. Interesting that Miami, off a home win and come from behind fashion over Virginia, would move ahead of Clemson, who played the cupcake game this past week and won big. Not that it matters, as a foul off the missed free throw on Tyler Davis, because Miami and Clemson are going to play each other in the ACC championship game. That'll act as a de facto elimination game. But what do you think about the top four? Alabama, Miami and Clemson for the ACC. Oklahoma rounds it out.
Yeah, I'm okay with it right now. And obviously, like you said, two of those teams are going to play each other and knock each other out. And Auburn's the one I think that can really throw a wrinkle in this whole thing. If they were to beat Alabama, does Alabama drop out of that top four? Who gets that spot at that point?
And another wrinkle, and again, depending on how Auburn-Alabama shakes out and the ACC championship game, will the Big Ten championship game between Ohio State and Wisconsin become a de facto elimination game? If Ohio State beat Wisconsin, would they get enough respect for that win to leapfrog some teams that are in front of them right now and make it into the top four?
Yeah, obviously, you can't pass any of the teams if they keep winning. But yes, if it's Clemson or Miami losing that game, does Ohio State jump one of them? That would be the question. Or if it was Alabama to lose a game, does Ohio State with 2 losses jump Alabama? It's always fun the last couple weeks. We think we got it all figured out, and then something crazy happens.
Gilder knocks down an elbow jumper, but what will bear watching over these last 10 minutes, can Penn State keep up the intensity of the press? It's a long time to try and play that style against a team as athletic as A&M, and how effective will it be, because it's gotten them back in the game down by 11.
And it takes a lot of energy to come back in a ball game, and this is a physical A&M team. So they're wearing down Penn State a little bit. Can they keep it up for the final 10 minutes? They got to find a way to keep freeing up Tony Carr. Gilder's done a terrific job on him in the second half.
Carr can't hit that one. Saved by Gilder. Poke from behind by Carr. He gets the steal, and he's able to finish. 27 for Tony Carr.
Swipe from behind. Stevens throws it up to Carr. Good finish in transition. More defense leading to offense.
Mike Watkins back in. Satchel Pierce back to the bench for Penn State. And here is the press. What do you think was said by Billy Kennedy to his team in that last huddle? I'm sure it was spent trying to figure out how to work your way through this press.
Take care of the basketball. Don't turn it over. They're getting good shots when they get it into the half court.
Dwayne Wilson forced it. Carr, back door. Back outside, Reeves for three. Too strong.
And a huge shot from Reeves. Penn State back in the single digits. Wilson's been very good at getting into the lane here in the second half. It's Reeves on them now.
9 minutes to go, under 10 to shoot. Builder has it knocked away, 6 on the shot clock. Shep Garner's been quiet tonight. He has yet to score 0 for 3 from the field, but he is back in, so the experience replacing Jamari Wheeler, the freshman.
Garner, being a senior, needs to come up with a big shot here. He's very quiet in this ball game.
Trosha Morelos way outside. Lamar Stevens draws a foul. Well, how much can you debate about that college football playoff rankings release and getting you ready for all 3 NFL games on Thanksgiving morning? Start your day with First Take at 10 Eastern on ESPN. Maybe some Turkey Day surprises as well, we're told. First Take on Thanksgiving morning, streaming live on the ESPN app as well. Carr doesn't get the roll. Keeping it alive, though, was Mike Watkins. And that allows Lamar Stevens an offensive rebound and a chance at the line. And it looks like Robert Williams picked up that foul. That's his third.
His third. Team 7.
Good job by Stevens. Stay active on the boards, giving up some size down low. Along with Davis and Williams.
Jamari Wheeler is back.
Wheeler back in for Tony Carr, so you'd have to think this is a very brief rest for Carr just to get to the under 8 TV timeout, as Patrick Chambers figured trying to steal just a little extra rest for him before he plays the rest of the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, this will be his final rest for him to go the rest of the way. He's had to deal with Gilder here in the second half. He's done an excellent job being physical, not giving them any space. Carr will be ready to go after the media timeout. And a mismatch inside.
Help comes from Watkins. Williams can't score it. Lamar Stevens crosses over, gets fouled, finishes. No, they wave it off. The Penn State bench explodes looking for a continuation and a 3-point play for Lamar Stevens, but they say this is a foul right there on the floor.
That's a good call. Wilson obviously knows it's on the floor. That's a good call. Bump was out on top of the floor.
Lamar Stevens working on an 18-point game. He's been in double figures every game that Penn State has played so far. One more free throw and it will be his second game with 20 or more. Both teams now out of fouls to give, so we shoot free throws the rest of the way.
Foul gives Carr a little bit more break. Penn State trying to chip into the lead with Carr on the bench here. Give him as much rest as possible before that media timeout. Another deflection.
Almost a steal. And there is a steal. Mike Watkins takes it away. Stevens will attack. To the corner. A 3 on the way. That's no good from Garner. A run out for Williams. Gives it up. Looking for a return. Instead, it is a finish by Dwayne Wilson.
Dwayne Wilson.
What a turnaround. Chance for a 3-point play. for Dwayne Wilson when we come back.
Wilson been a difference maker here in the second half for Texas A&M. He's been on the attack modes, finishing in transition off a free.
Many as 17 here in the second half. But Sean, Patrick Chambers put on the three-quarter court press. The game completely changed. Is it enough for Penn State to get over the top? Or do you think Texas A&M is just a little too much?
Texas A&M's been terrific here. It's very difficult to come back from that big of a margin in the second half. Penn State used a lot of energy to chip back into this lead. Take a lot more here in the last 8 minutes of effort and energy to keep climbing back into it. Tony Carr was able to get a rest there. He's back in the ball game. Penn State needs to find a way to free him up, coming off some screens. Gilder being very physical with him, making him work for everything he gets here in the second half.
Here's Carr in the post. Fouled by Gilder. Carr goes to the line. And we've got plenty of notable Feast Week tournaments coming up. Starting on Thanksgiving Day, the NIT season tip-off. That'll end up at the Garden. The Advocare Invitational, the Wooden Legacy. So even more college basketball. If you're a college basketball fan, once it gets going, it gets going. We have ranked teams and oftentimes against ranked teams almost every day.
Good food and getting that remote control clicker working this week.
Admon Gilder on the bench. He just picked up his fourth.
He's done a terrific job defending Tony Carr here in the second half, making Carr work for every opportunity he gets.
So how big of a factor is that? You think Carr might get a few looks that he wasn't getting when Gilder was on the floor?
Absolutely. He can be more physical because of his body. Probably going to see Wilson or Chandler guarding Carr now, but they don't have the size and strength that Gilder has.
Williams lost it. Taken away by Lamar Stevens. Tried to give it up to Carr, and he's fouled on a reach-in by J.J. Chandler. Awkward from Lamar Stevens, but he gets bailed out on a reach-in, and he will shoot a couple.
Texas A&M cannot turn the basketball over in this situation. Playing right into Penn State's hands.
Stevens at the line.
Penn State with only one timeout remaining. Texas A&M still has a couple. And it's the double bonus the rest of the way for Penn State. They still have a couple of 1-and-1s to go Texas A&M's way. Only 7 team fouls on the Nittany Lions. 6-point game with 7 minutes to go. Steele throwing it back into play, Josh Reeves. But there's J.J. Chandler to clean it up for A&M.
Texas A&M not looking very comfortable against that press. Continue to be careless with the basketball.
And they call that save by Reeves possession. The shot clock reset for A&M as well. Hogue shut down. Second effort. That's not there, but there is the follow for Tyler Davis.
There's the length of A&M. Hogue at 6'9", taking it to the basket. And Davis and Williams, a couple of 6'10" bigs, both there for the cleanup.
Carr double teamed in the post, gives it up. He's looking to repost.
A smaller Chandler on him, so he's looking to post up. Williams coming over to double team.
Lamar Stevens fouled by Robert Williams. That's his fourth.
So look at that size, 6'9", taking it to the basket. Now they're 6'10", 6'10", both there. Either one of them could have the finish. Davis gets it that time.
Williams picking up his fourth, though.
Two key players. Robert Williams with 4. Gilder with 4 on the bench as well.
And Trosha Morelos is going to come back in for Williams.
Billy Kennedy will try to buy time to get under the media timeout with those two guys on the bench, and Williams and Gilder. See if they can keep the lead at 7 for 2 minutes here. Get those key players back in.
Oh, air ball. Trosha Morelos kicks it back out. Taken away, though. Jamari Wheeler on the steal. able to lay it in. 5-point game.
More defense. Those cross-court passes, too much air underneath them. Have to be sharp.
Oh, double teamed, fouled. And they are ready to come apart at the seams on the Penn State bench as Josh Reeves called for the foul. That's his fourth.
Right here. Reeves reaching around. It's close.
Shep Garner back in for Reeves, who has to sit with 4. Even though that was a Penn State foul, it's another example of the three-quarter court press being tough for Texas A&M to handle and how it's changed the game.
Penn State has cranked up the pressure. Because of the change in defense, they're playing with a lot more energy. Texas A&M opened up that big lead. They're a little complacent here.
1 of 2 at the line, but there's Tyler Davis to make it a 3-point trip off the miss by Hogue.
There's momentum killers there for Penn State. You get the missed free throw. You don't box out. Credit Tyler Davis for getting in there.
Boy, he is a beast at 270 pounds.
Right here, you have to know, where is Tyler Davis? This needs to be a pinch. And Carr does not pin down with Watkins. It allows Davis to sneak inside. Need communication between Carr and Watkins. You have to pinch down, keep Davis out of the lane.
Carr through traffic. Stripped away right to Stevens. He'll drive it. Gives it up. And the flush. Mike Watkins.
A&M went to a 2-3 zone that time. Good penetration against the zone.
Watkins gambles. Hogue made him pay.
A&M continuing to crash the boards. Makes Penn State pay. Three zone. Got to find shooters. Garner, Carr, the 2 shooters on the floor for A&M. Can't lose those 2 guys, especially late in the shot clock here.
5 to shoot. Garner. No. He's been off all night. Offensive rebound, though. Fresh 30 if they can keep it alive, which they cannot. Lamar Stevens throws it away, and Jamari Wheeler just couldn't save it.
Too much perimeter on that possession for Penn State. And success going against that 2-3 zone, attacking inside that time. No penetration.
Hogue saved it. His momentum was about to carry him out of bounds. Under 4 minutes to go. Wilson on the drive. Taken away by Watkins. Carr gives it up to Watkins. Tough handle. He reposts. Blocked by Davis. J.J. Chandler tied up. And they will call that a shooting foul. J.J. Chandler to the line when we come back.
Josh Reeves returns for Penn State. Chandler at the line for the Aggies.
Well, John, the Progressive Legends Classic Championship Trophy is going to end up with either Texas A&M or Penn State. And A&M has not allowed Penn State to get over the top, almost blowing a 17-point lead. Bob Wischusen here with Sean Harrington. And this is the freshman J.J. Chandler trying to put it back to double digits with 3.5 minutes to go.
And Penn State has gone to the full court press defense. They've gotten some turnovers out of it. That has been an issue for Texas A&M. 19 turnovers yesterday, 14 already here tonight. They got to take care of the basketball in the final 3.5 minutes if they want to win.
Aggies foul, whistle on number 1,
DJ Hogue picks up his third on a reach-in as Robert Williams continues to sit with 4.
Reeves at the line.
But his team's up by 10.
You don't want to foul early in a possession if you're Texas A&M. Try to make Penn State work the clock a little bit. Give them a chance now to go to the line, get points without the clock moving. Now they can set up their press as well. It's been so successful here in the second half.
And when Chambers decided to push the button to go to this press, the game changed. That might be a backcourt violation. If nothing else, it's a takeaway by Carr and a foul by Wilson. Another miscue against the press at midcourt for A&M. That's 4 on Wilson.
Another turnover, picking up the basketball just across half court. Carr knocks it away, and then he gets tripped up as he's trying to track down the loose ball. And again, a quick turnover. Doesn't use much clock, and then you foul, which stops the clock. Penn State goes to the line again. Chance to put points on the board. Clock not moving.
That looked to me like it should have been a backcourt violation even before the foul. Looked like Trosha Morelos was established in the front court and then turned around to give it to Dwayne Wilson, who was still in the backcourt. And he made contact with the basketball. It was loose. And Carr gets free throws, trying to cut the lead down to 6. No good. So it stays at 7.
And even on the miss, Penn State able to set their defense off of the free throw. Wilson's been really good here in the second half of getting into the lane.
Gilder playing with 4 fouls. Shot clock to 10. Wilson, crossover. Finger roll is good.
He has been outstanding here in the second half. And again, late shot clock gets into the lane. Penn State has not been able to keep Wilson out. It's been the difference here in the second half.
2-3 zone again. Finding a soft spot, but too strong off the glass, Lamar Stevens.
Stevens got caught in the air. He didn't know if he wanted to bank it or shoot it straight at the basket.
Gilder picks up his dribble in the corner and gets it back. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. Gilder floats one. The finish. Tyler Davis.
Hard to guard that high screen from the elbow. When the guards are able to turn the corner, you have to stop the basketball. Leaves the bigs open. A lot of success for A&M on that play tonight.
Carr in and out. And Gilder's got the rebound, and now A&M is in control as Carr gives a backcourt foul with Texas A&M back up by double digits.
This is going to be something that teams are going to have to figure out how to stop when that guard's coming off that high ball screen. The weak side defense has to get inside Tyler Davis. Davis appreciates the pass from Gilder.
And what a second half it's been for the man at the line. Dwayne Wilson, he had 2 points at halftime. He knocks this free throw in. Now he's got 21.
Chip Garner returns for Penn State.
He was everywhere, getting his hands
Robert Williams
on the defensive end. Loose balls, deflection, steals, playing with high energy, and Penn State has had no answer to keep him out of the lane. Completely changed this ball game with his penetration.
And Williams back in now. 22 for Dwayne Wilson. Tony Carr has to force the issue now. Throws one up, looking a backdoor Mike Watkins, and it's not there. Gilder tries to go coast to coast. Stripped away off his knee. Back to Penn State with a 1.5 minutes remaining. Now are you looking for threes if you're the Nittany Lions? Or are you forced to?
You have to get quick scores, but obviously against the 2-3 zone, see if you can get a touch inside and then a kick out to a shooter. Problem for Penn State, Tony Carr has been the only one to make them here tonight.
That hit the backboard first, and now Gilder dribbling the clock down.
Very impressive 2 games for Texas A&M.
Trosha Morelos gathers and scores plus the foul. A little over a minute to go, and Texas A&M has pulled away, and they are going to be the champions of the Progressive Legends Classic.
These guards just throw it up there to the big guys. Go and get it. The size and length of Texas A&M is going to give a lot of teams fits. They also have the guards to go with it. Wilson stepped up big here in the second half. Gilder has been terrific all year, and then Hogue hasn't done the scoring here tonight, but deadly from the outside.
Good early season test, though, for a Penn State team that has a lot of upside, led by that guy, Tony Carr.
You never feel good with a loss, but they definitely showed tonight that they can hang with a very good team. Texas A&M playing as good as anybody in the country right now.
And that big crystal basketball that they'll bring home to College Station might not be the only hardware that they bring home. Look at some of the early season tests besides Penn State. They've got ranked games coming up on the road against USC coming up on Sunday. And how about Arizona? That could be a big one. Arguably the best that the Pac-12 has to offer against arguably the best that the SEC has to offer on December 5th.
Playing good competition, traveling all over. They were in Germany. Got to go out to play USC. Playing here in New York.
And to reiterate what Penn State has on the horizon, on the road to take on NC State on ESPNU coming up on November 29th, at Iowa and Wisconsin to kick off the early Big Ten schedule first week of December.
Some big games there. ACC Big Ten Challenge at NC State, and then obviously the wrinkle in the schedule this year for the Big Ten teams is 2 games in December, the first week of December. And it's at Iowa, who's lost 2 games early, and then home against Wisconsin, who is also a very young team. So very important for Penn State. They want to make a run for an NCAA tournament bid. A couple early games here at NC State, and then 2 Big Ten games. Really important that they play well in those 3 games.
Robert Williams, the cherry on top.
Robert Williams.
He is quick. 6'10". Handles the basketball and finish there.
Lamar Stevens goes back door. And a foul given by Shep Garner out near midcourt, but Texas A&M with a 14-point lead. Too little, too late for Penn State, as Robert Williams will go to the line.
Williams at the line.
Williams just terrific here tonight. A lot of weapons on this team. Go into a game thinking you got to stop Texas A&M from the inside. They'll get you from the outside. Gilder also did a terrific job on Tony Carr here in the second half. Made him work for everything after 21 points at the half. Gilder took it upon himself to make it difficult.
Shep Garner finally hits a 3. Gilder gets away from the trap. And another foul called with a little under 17 seconds to go.
That's his 5th.
Josh Reeves fouls out. How good do you think this Penn State team can be?
They should be right there for an NCAA tournament bid. They can be a top half of the Big Ten.
Which gets you in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. And right now, if you look at the Big Ten, I think 3 teams separating themselves are Michigan State, Purdue, and Minnesota. After that, who's going to emerge? It's kind of that 4th, 5th best team in the Big Ten. I think there's a lot of separation between number 4. We're down to about 11 or 12 in the Big Ten. Every night there's going to be close ball games. But definitely a team, Penn State, NCAA bid, very possible. This is a year that they can climb up and be in that top half of the Big Ten.
And when Texas A&M is looking at where they may be seated at the end of the season, this could be a game that determines 1 or 2 extra seeds, because if Penn State goes on to have the season you think they might, this could look like a really impressive win for A&M at the end of the year.
No question. They'll be battle tested. Great win against West Virginia. Good wins here as well.
For Sean Harrington, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Brooklyn, where Texas A&M wins the Progressive Legends Classic. Time to head back to Hawaii. Michigan, Chaminade in the Maui Invitational.